29 years old, $175 million. That's what Charlie Javice walked away with when she sold her startup Frank to JPMorgan Chase in 2021. But here's the shocking part. Everything was fake. The customers, the data, even the future JPMorgan thought they were buying. This is the story of how one young entrepreneur fooled America's biggest bank and why it should terrify every investor, student, and anyone with money in the system. Charlie Javice seemed unstoppable. Forbes named her to their prestigious 30 Under 30 list in 2019. Her startup Frank promised to revolutionize student financial aid, helping millions navigate the complex world of college funding. Founded in 2017, Frank claimed to simplify the nightmare of financial aid applications that every college student faces. Javice positioned herself as the champion of students drowning in bureaucracy, the young founder who understood their pain because she'd lived it. JPMorgan Chase saw gold. Here was a platform with over 4 million users, mostly young adults who would become lifetime banking customers. Jamie Dimon's bank projected over $500 million in revenue from Frank's massive user base. In summer 2021, they wrote the check, $175 million, for what seemed like the future of student banking. Javice personally pocketed between $21 and $29 million from the deal. But here's where it gets interesting. Frank didn't have 4 million users. It had under 300,000. That's not a rounding error. That's fraud on an industrial scale. When JPMorgan's 300-person due diligence team asked for customer data to verify Frank's claims, Javice panicked. She approached Frank's chief of engineering, Patrick Vover, asking him to create fake customer data. Vover refused, so Javice got creative. She hired a data science professor to manufacture bogus customer information, creating elaborate fake spreadsheets filled with millions of fictional students. The fake data was so sophisticated, it fooled JPMorgan's entire investment team. Think about that. 300 professional bankers, analysts, and investigators all missed the biggest red flag in corporate history. And it gets worse. Javice didn't just lie about numbers, she created an entire fictional business. While JPMorgan planned their integration strategy around Frank's supposed millions of users, reality was catching up fast. By September 2022, JPMorgan suspended Javice. 2 months later, they terminated her entirely. Jamie Dimon would later call the Frank acquisition a huge mistake, perhaps the understatement of the decade. But that's not even the worst part. In 2023, federal prosecutors arrested Javice, charging her with multiple counts of fraud. Her co-defendant Olivier Amar, Frank's chief growth officer, faced similar charges. Released on $2 million bail, Javice maintained her innocence for years. The trial revealed the stunning scope of the deception. Federal prosecutor Nicholas Ciucciolo didn't mince words. Charlie Javice and Olivier Amar sold Frank for $175 million worth of lies. In March 2025, a jury convicted Javice on 4 counts of fraud. Judge Alvin K. Hellerstein delivered a scathing verdict that should shake every boardroom in America. He sentenced Javice to 7 years in federal prison and ordered $287.5 million in restitution. But here's his most damning observation. Fraud remains a fraud, whether you outsmart someone who is smart or someone who is a fool. The judge essentially called JPMorgan's due diligence stupidity, while emphasizing that being a fool doesn't excuse being a victim of fraud. Nobody talks about what happened next to the real Frank users, those 300,000 actual students who trusted their financial futures to a platform built on lies. Here's why this matters to you. If JPMorgan Chase, with unlimited resources and 300 investigators, can be fooled this easily, what does that say about the due diligence protecting your investments, your pension, your financial future? Charlie Javice proved that in today's tech-obsessed world, a good story and fake data can fool anyone, even the smartest people in the room. Subscribe for more deep dives into the financial frauds that could impact your money tomorrow.